Okay, please settle. We're about to start. The 14th regular session of the 20th City Council is now called to order. Please rise. Invocation by Honorable Christian Rustico at Chas, followed by the singing of National Anthem, then Cagayan de Oro March. Okay.
Mic check. Okay. So, let us make a sign of a cross. And the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. Amen. Ginoo, we pray for you this session for today that we will achieve the utmost decision for our people of Cagayan de Oro. We pray for you to our every members of this council to have a good health, to our Vice Mayor, give her wisdom, strength to lead this council, to our people of Cagayan de Oro, to every family, to every household, give them blessings, as well to our Mayor, Clarix Oy, to give us a direction in our city. This we pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, holy be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sinned against us. Do not bring us to a test, but deliver us from evil. Amen. And the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang mag-ibig, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Upang binirang, kuya ka ng mag-ibig, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong bangaw, ay ginatang tulang awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iingin, ang bituin at parang niya kailan, ang ay di magiging
Please be seated. Good afternoon, everybody. To our guests who are here today, good afternoon to our media friends, of course, our councilors who are present today. Good afternoon. Mr. Secretary, can you please do the roll call?
Honorable Jocelyn B. Rodriguez, City Vice Mayor and Presiding Officer. For the 1st District Councilors, Honorable Agapito Heriberto G. Swan, Honorable Roger G. Abaday, Honorable J.R. Pascual, Honorable Amy Rose P. Moreno, Honorable Romeo V. Calizo, Honorable George is Goking, Honorable Jose Pepe S. Abud Jr., Honorable Malvern A. Esparcia. For the 2nd District Councilors, Honorable Ivona Yasini B. Imano, Honorable Maria Lourdes S. Gaani, Honorable Joylen Mercedes L. Balaba, Honorable James K. Judith II, Honorable Ian Mark Yunakaya, Honorable Edgar S. Cabanlas, Honorable Christian Rostico M. Achas, Honorable Josette G. Magtahas Daba. For the ex-officio members, Honorable Yan Lam S. Lim, Liga ng mga Barangay President, Honorable John Michael El Seno, City SK Federation President. There is quorum, Madam Presiding Officer.
Quorum is hereby certified. Can we proceed? No. Before that, we have a birthday celebrant celebrating today's birthday. Yesterday. Councilor Ayan Achas, singing to be led, birthday song singing to be led by Councilor Romeo Calizo. Please rise.
My heartfelt greetings to Councilor Ayan Achas. Happy birthday. And I will lead the singing of the birthday song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Faster. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. How old are you?
Happy birthday! Okay, Majority Floor Leader, Councilor Ayan Mark Nakaya, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer, Vice Mayor Jocelyn Bebot Rodriguez, and happy birthday, Councilor Christian Ayan Achas, and good afternoon to our colleagues, friends from the media, fellow Cagayanons, mayong hapon. I move, Madam Presiding Officer, to dispense with the reading of the minutes of meeting on October 3, 2022, and to consider the furnishing of its copy to every member as the reading itself.
And a second? Objection. I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
I likewise move for the approval of the said minutes of meeting.
And a second? Objection. I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
We have 5 members who would like to render their respective special reports, Madam Presiding Officer, which also the Presiding Officer have consented, and we advise all the reporters to contain their respective reports briefly, to have a 1-hour special report. And first, Madam Presiding Officer, is this representation. I would like to render a special report on broadband connectivity in the city of Cagayan de Oro. Second is Councilor Amy Moreno, who would like to render a report on her intention to institutionalize the VAUSI response of the city of Cagayan de Oro. And Councilor Bernie Esparcia would like to render a report as regards his proposal on the Kugun Market Traffic Scheme. Then to be followed by Councilor Roger Abaday on his proposal to have a city's waste management system in the city. And Councilor James Judith as regards criminal incidents occurring recently. May I proceed as the first reporter, Madam Presiding
Yes, please.
Officer? Thank you. Just 2 weeks ago, this representation was sent by the Honorable City Mayor to represent him, and Councilor Bernie was also there present to represent the Honorable Vice Mayor in the USAID-sponsored program together with DAICT and the Leagues of Cities as regards improving broadband internet connectivity in cities and LGUs. I recall few of the discussions, Madam Presiding Officer, that Region 10 was placed in the median. In other words, for all the regions who have been graced with this broadband connectivity, Region 10 and Cagayan de Oro as part of Region 10 is at the median, in the middle. In other words, we are still weak with respect to our connection. Much more yesterday for the South District, we were disconnected with the connections of BLDT. I do not know what happened. But the total disconnection, Madam Presiding Officer. I am raising and standing before this august body to render a report to perhaps see the city of Cagayan de Oro in the future competing with the modern cities with a broadband that is so fast, has a caliber of speed of Singapore, or even in Malaysia or United Kingdom, USA, even in China. We know for a fact, Madam Presiding Officer, that the market is no longer the physical evidence of a stand-alone building that you can sell your wares to the public, and of course your customers, your market are just ready and accessible buying the wares that you are selling. The market, Madam Chair, is borderless. You can create your own craft and sell it online. And what have you if Russia, China, Japan will be your own market and clients? One triggering discussion that was raised by Engineer L.P. Paras, who was also part of the discussants of one topic, Madam Presiding Officer. He said, which caught the attention of everybody, but for the national government, they snubbed the proposal. I do not know why. But he said, why not the government spend for satellites instead of paying for the cost of a 1 billion bridge that can only be utilized by perhaps 1,000 of people daily, using the bridge as their road towards one end to the other. But if we have this satellite, if we have this connectivity, people from all walks of life, not just a few, hundreds, even not just a few thousands, but people in the global community can access and connect either you or your children, an outsourced employee from a modern country, industrial at that, or you are providing employment to the global community. In other words, the benefits that we would be having of this kind of project would tantamount to billions instead of raking just a few millions. And the future generation would have more and greater chances of opportunities that they will receive once we are able to provide them with this broadband connectivity. So this special report I render, I hope that be referred to my committee also, the Innovation Committee, and we will also knock the local finance committee's graces that we support the providers. For instance, I personally talked to one of the providers, I would like to name, Globe, Madam Presiding
Globe.
Officer. He said, if you want to fast track your connectivity in the city, you invest in cell sites and we will lower the rates. That's our partnership offer to your city. They have done that in ARM region for security and protection because the LGU can protect the cell sites as the investors. And they would like to do this type of undertaking in the city of Cagayan de Oro. And hopefully, perhaps, in the future time, we can have better connections. And for our people, for the young, makagamit yun ugayo para ni ani. So, my prayer, Madam Presiding Officer, is this be considered, maybe perhaps in the budget hearing, we can inquire. And for the Innovation Committee, we can also engage discussion with the providers, together with the Public Utilities Committee, for this to be given light in the city of Cagayan de Oro. Thank you.
Thank you, Majority Floor Leader Ayan Magnakaya. It's a very good report. What is the mechanism behind? Because you know what, you mentioned about cell sites, no? So our cell site is not enough.
Yes.
So we need more cell sites that the government, local government will invest. Is that what you mean?
Information I gathered, Madam Presiding Officer, for every one cell site, only 300 subscribers can utilize.
So what's the
500 na karon.
So what's the difference with broadband? You mentioned about broadband.
It's the same.
It's the same. But more cell sites to be spent by the government, right?
If the city will invest, they promise to lower the rates.
Lower the rates,
For
more
the-
cell
for the-
sites.
Yes, for the more cell
okay,
sites.
okay.
But if they will invest for the cell sites, of course, the rate is regular and normal
Yes.
according to the rates of the day.
You know how much one cell site costs? No.
No.
That will be presented during the, no?
Meeting.
The meeting. Okay. I would like to recognize Miss Irene. Aimee. Miss Aimee Moreno, please. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Maayong hapon sa tanan. Actually, Madam Chair, as I recall, because SMART and PLDT had visited the mayor a few weeks ago, I think 3 weeks ago, and they had pledged to create more than 3 dozens of cell sites. But of course, with a partnership with Globe, it can definitely, I'm sure it can definitely help our constituents, no, na ma-lower down ang cost. Pero FYI lang, Madam Chair, na mutabang ang SMART karon for additional, nag-pledge na sila additional towers. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to ask another question, Councilor Majority Floor Leader, Councilor Ayan Magnakaya. Okay, then we will be entertaining not only Globe, right? Major. We will be entertaining not only Globe,
That's
right?
our endearment.
SMART and PLDT. So we will be entertaining not only Globe, but SMART and PLDT as well.
Everyone
Everybody.
in the industry.
So anybody can put cell sites depending on the government. the city government, right?
In fact, Madam Presiding Officer, these providers are already interconnected. In other words, let Smart invest more in the area. Anyway, they can connect with their interconnection ability and capacity, considering that Congress has already intervened that they should be interconnected.
Yeah, because this is a very laudable, no? Because you know what happened? During Zoom, no? During Zoom, pag hinay ang internet, ang estudyante wala gyud. So I have to get two line, no? Like two server para lang nga makasulod pag hinay ang usa mosulod ang usa. So it has been an ongoing problem since the the pandemic kay ang Zoom ang gamiton. So that will be a very good very good project hopefully. Okay, yes, Councilor Bernie Sparcia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to add, Madam Chair, since I was the one representing the Vice Mayor,
Yeah.
ako lang ni add, Madam Chair, that there was time dito sa hapon nga gipangutana ang atong mga providers kung unsa po'y challenges in putting some cellular sites. Ako lang ikondre kay naka-notes mangguan to. Ang usa sa ilang mga problema daw kay naiuban pod mga homeowners association. Like for example, if the site is near on a certain community or subdivision, some of the HOA or homeowners association dili gusto magpatukod og tower. This is as a whole sa entire Philippines ni. I don't know lang if this is happening in Cagayan de Oro, but as a whole sa Philippines kay tungod daw sa health issues. So nada uban HOA nga dili mo agree ana. And ikaduha dayon ingon sila nga napoy ubang mga barangay officials. Again, this is not Cagayan de Oro as a whole ni sa tibok Pilipinas na yung mga barangay officials nga medyo ginahasol-hasol sila pagkuha sa mga papeles ug uban pa mo nang dugay silang makatukod og mga cell sites, which is mo gini ang usa sa mga priority karon nga gusto ni BBM sa atong presidente nga mopaspas gayud ang internet sa Pilipinas. Mao lang na, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Bernie Sparcia. Actually, kanang giingon nila gasol-hasol, no more barangay now. I think the approval is directly, no, there is a city, no, committee on environment. I was once a kapitan, hinoon gapangutan ako because our residents would like to ask whether this cell site is safe for everybody. So I also started to question that. Pero later on, as it goes along, it is not really that harmful. Kay kapila na nag-present ang DOH sa mga cell sites nga asa gitukod, dili gud siya. So hopefully nga karon nga with this new new procedure, no, nga wala na nag-agi sa barangay, diretso na sa city. So more cell sites should be constructed kay para lang sa atong atong internet nga mapaspasan. Any more question or comment? Yes, Councilor Attorney James Judith.
Madam Chair, Majority Floor Leader, atong mga kauban sa Konseho maupay. Ang ako lang pangutana kay isn't it that kung mag-invest man mo sa special report ni Majority Floor Leader ang mag-invest ang usa ka local government unit ang atong gobyerno sa maubali nga kana nga investment lugar buta nato, di ba dili ba ka nga akong pangutana is isn't it the kay proprietary capacity naman ang atong himuon, in what way man ang atong dakbayan mukita kung sa dili naman ni sovereign or governmental capacity. So kung mo-invest ta, in what way will the LGU earn? Kay proprietary capacity naman siya nga endeavor.
Okay, Councilor Ian Mark.
Depending on how we look at it, Madam Presiding Officer, if it is an investment for purposes of serving the public, our returns would be our community would have access to internet, broadband, and they would have access to the entire opportunities within the platform of the internet. If we look at it as an entrepreneurial proprietary activity or exercise of the city government. That would be up to our engagement with the proponents of the project or the providers. So we cannot speak yet as to which direction we would take for as long as it would be favorable to the public. That's where one we should foremost consider.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Majority Floor Leader, Councilor Ayan Maclacaya. Our next speaker... Okay, Councilor Amy Moreno. Irene mo ginong ako eh. Amy Moreno is you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, once again, maayong hapon, Honorable Vice Mayor Jocelyn Bebot Rodriguez, Majority Floor Leader, maayong hapon, and sa akong mga kauban, maayong hapon. So, ang special report will be tackling on violence against women and children. So, in 2004, a milestone law, the Republic Act 9262, was passed in Congress, protecting women and children. Under the said law, otherwise known as the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004, VAUC, the concept of violence against women and children includes not just physical violence, but also sexual violence, psychological violence, and economic abuse, including threats of such acts, battery, assault, coercion, harassment, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty. The law penalizes any act or a series of acts committed by any person against a woman who is his wife, former wife, or against a woman with whom the person has had a sexual or dating relationship, or with whom he has a common child, or against her child, whether legitimate or illegitimate, within or without the family abode. It has been 18 years since the enactment of the VAUC, and we have come so far from how we were before. Generally speaking, our women are already informed of this law and have been seeking help from our barangay VAUC coordinators or desk officers over the years, that the number of cases on VAUC have been at a minimal and on a decreasing trajectory. This deserves a recognition of the efforts of our VAUC desk officers. Data from our CSWD shows that in 2020, only 21 VAUC cases were recorded that happened in Barangay Tablon, Barangay Bayabas, Barangay Puntod, Barangay Makabalan, Barangay Patag, Barangay Bugo, Barangay Carmen, Barangay Kamamanan, Barangay Kanituan, Barangay Pagatpat, Barangay Tres, and Barangay Lumbia. In 2021, prevalence decreased to 14 VAUC cases in Barangay Kauswagan, Kanituan, Puntod, Mambuaya, Balulang, Tablon, Pagatpat, Lumbia, Ipunan, Puerto, and Balulang. Again, this decreasing trajectory reflects on how barangays in our city government are working hard to minimize, if not eliminate, cases involving act or a series of acts committed by any person against a woman who is his wife, former wife, or against a woman with whom the person has had a sexual or dating relationship. We need to sustain this. More specifically, I would like the Council to recognize the efforts of barangay VAUC desk officers in every barangay in Cagayan de Oro. They are the ones who tirelessly work to conduct initial interviews and secure the victims while appropriate actions are being readied by the desk in the police stations. They are the ones who arrange a safe shelter or assist the victim to the CSWD office and assist the victim in filing a temporary protection order or a permanent protection order with the nearest family court. And while we recognize their heroic deeds on a daily basis, I would also bring into this council their plight in the delivery of their functions. We have consulted and interviewed some barangay captains and VAUC personnel. Without divulging their names, the VAUC in charge in a barangay in District 1 said she has worked as VAUC in charge for 1 year already, attending to cases of violence and abuse, but she only receives 5,400 pesos per month honorarium. Another VAUSI personnel from whom barangay who started working in April this year said she still does not know how much she will be paid because she has yet to receive an honorarium. While still another VAUSI officer for 13 years already said she gets to receive 500 to 1,500 pesos every quarter as honorarium in their barangay. But the fight is far from over. There are still a significant number of women who are suffering in silence, but due to lack of resources and capacity, our barangay personnel cannot, as of this moment, reach them yet. We need to sustain the gains of our frontliners and improve further, and so we need to give them all the support we can give. The different pay that receives sprouts from the present setup, which is that each barangay provides honorarium depending on the era, and that the city, through the CSWD, provides each VAUSI desk officer 1,500 pesos honorarium per month, but released quarterly. There is no local ordinance yet that institutionalizes this initiative from the city. This brings me to the point that it is high time that we give due to these heroes working as frontliners to protect women and children every day, starting by putting into law their well-deserved honorarium, one that shows how we appreciate their work and how it can empower them to work better. There is already a national law, but it needs to be supplemented with a local law to reinforce its enactment. Actually, just last week, I came from a workshop and I had the privilege to see the facilities of Quezon City regarding their protection, their program on protection for women. And makita nato ang diferensya na grabe ka, dako ang ilahang budget. They have a whole entire huge building dedicated for women. And currently, they have about 120 women inside their facility, some of whom naapod ang ilang mga bata. So these are cases of abuse. Now, fortunately, dinhi sa Cagayan, gamay ra kaayo ang atuang VAUSI cases. As I speak, we have one case na naakaroon sa Women's Crisis Center. So it may be due to lack of resources. It may be due to fear among women. So I believe we should create more awareness so that women can easily come forward to our VAUSI desk officers. And when it comes to children, fortunately for Quezon City, they have a very low number of abuse cases on children. But here in Cagayan de Oro, medyo taas ang atuang cases. So with this, and I'm sure if we have not yet visited the home care for girls, I suggest we do so. Kay every time makaadto ko dito, ma-realize na ko ang important sa mga VAUSI desk officers. Kay if not for the VAUSI desk officers, basin, mas muhadlok ang mga bata o ang mga babae. So, in ending, I would like to move to request for a resolution to revisit the City VAUSI program, particularly on the specific support we extend to our VAUSI desk officers in every barangay, in aid of legislation. We hope that we can institutionalize this so as to give our barangay frontliners an assurance of their importance to our community. Thank you, and maayong hapon ka natong tanan.
Thank you very much, Councilor Moreno. That is a very good report now with VAUSI cases in Cagayan de Oro. With regard to, this is my only point of view, with regard to the honorarium, it depends on the barangay. It depends on the barangay, how much they are earning, how much is their era, so it depends on them. But with VAUSI cases, it is really, we need to strengthen our barangay. We need to empower. The Kapitan needs to be empowered so that these VAUSI cases will be implemented. Once we know that there is a VAUSI case in such barangay, then this is where the Kapitan comes in, sign a restraining order, deliver to the person concerned, and 14 days, the husband has to go down, look for a place, and will not be able to stay with the family. Mao ginay kahitabo permi bisan sa akong barangay. When I am very strict with that. Pero what happens is that the forgiving wife always forgives the husband. So, balik na sad, humana na. Mao na nga magbalik-balik ang cases sa vowsy. Later on, siguro makarealize ang wife, mundang nag-just relasyon. Pero most of the time, the wife goes back to the husband in spite nga pakanaugon. Even with one report of a wife nga iya gikusi lang siya pakanaugon, pwede pakanaog. So let us empower our barangays, empower the kapitan nga this vowsy be implemented strictly in the barangays. Naman si Councilor Alamlim so that ato na sang i-refresh ang mandate, i-refresh og balik nga kini nga balaod nga ma-strengthen sa kada barangay. Yes, Councilor Amy Moreno, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, tinood, Madam Chair, no? But it makes us realize more importance of VAUSI desk officers kay fickle-minded ang babae. Kay
Yes.
mahag lang, di ba? Okay na. All is forgotten. Women are really naturally very forgiving.
Yeah.
No.
True. True.
And reactions, you know,
Yeah.
but all the more, the reason na kinahanglan nato ang mga VAUSI desk officers kay sila man ang mag-pacify sa mga babae and kinahanglan sa babae na naa siya ka-istorya para makarelate. And soon enough, pohon, no, ma-realize niya kung unsay mas maayo na desisyon na dapat.
Yeah.
And sa and sa karon, currently, naanay gihatag ang city na honorarium, which was actually posted by Boss Turks, no? Naghatag na ang city na 1,500 per
Okay, that's good.
barangay.
Okay, good.
But my concern is, it really depends sa ira sa barangay.
Yeah,
So, naay mga barangay na ang madawat nila 5,000, pero napod may mga barangay na gamay ra kaayo. So, basin ang madawat lang nila is the honorarium given by the city. So, mautong at least madugangan lang siguro gamay and ma-institutionalize lang ang ilahang honorarium. So, kana lang. Thank you.
1.5 ra. Okay, thank you, Councilor Amy Moreno. Anyway, and one more thing. That's Councilor Alamlim. Councilor Alamlim, probably when you gather around naning mga kapitanes nato, no, let us give them additional information on how to handle VAUSI. Kay kadaghanan sa atong mga kababayenan gakahadlok, they do not know where to go. They do not know what is their rights. They do not know whether they're protected. So, strengthen nato ang ilang katungod sa mga kababainhan and how we will be able to protect them as well. So, I hope that this can be discussed on the level ni Councilor Alamlim. Is that okay? Thank you, Councilor Alamlim. So, thank you very much. Our next reporter, Councilor Bernie Esparcia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kami ni General Calizo mo support gimi ma'am sa mga kababayenan, ma'am.
Okay, mga priso.
Apil si Kuya George Goking. Kuya, ito ginang protektahan yun nato ang mga kababayenan. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Excuse me, he's asking whether it's an abuse husband. That is true. That is true. Very true, abuse husband. Pero there's no balaod. What you can do is with abuse husband is only physical injury. It happened to me in my barangay, kulatado ang bana. Pero wag yun ko mapangitaan nga kaso, protection against husband, no? Physical injury ra gyud bisag nag-black eye na. Mauna siya. Proceed, Councilor Bernie.
Lutuan lamig-lamig nga breakfast, ma'am. Okay naman kay mi, ma'am. Anyway, thank you, Madam Chair. Ang akong special report may tungod kini sa nagkabibo na nga night market sa Kugon. Niaging Sabado, October 8, mga alas 9 sa gabi, ako mismo, together with my family, my kids, niatog ko sa ukay-ukayan sa Kugon Market. bibo kaayo, daghan baligya o barato pod o daghan kay mamalitay. And I'm so happy nga nakita na ako daghan kay customers. Murag bitog after pandemic, after 2 years, murag nalipay ta nga makakita nga sa wakas medyo nahina nagbalik ang atong ekonomiya, sila nga mga gagming negosyante nakabaligya na. Like I said, dako akong kalipay nga nabalik silang pagnegosyo. Apan atong gabion na witness pod nako ug akong pamilya ang usa ka SUV na nakabangga og motor. Tungod siguro sa kahadlok sa nakabangga og motor kay murag giabrihan man iyang portahan kung murag hadlok siya nga base unya kulatahon siya sa mga tao. Wala siya muhunong og iyang gibuldos og nihaguros kini og pipila sab ang medyo na sideswipe. Magaling nagsininggita yung mga tao kay kung paminaw nimo mura siya og nagstrapping abig Armalite pero tingog lang dito sa motor. And may na lang walay casualty. Pero imagine ninyo gikan sa may Antonio T ang motor nadala gyud na bulldoze padulong dito sa Nazaret dool sa inyong balay, Madam Chair. Ingana kalayo ang gibihian sa maong kuan motor. So medyo naibawan na to, in fairness to Colonel Mandia, na ni-reply man po siya sa kuha nga Chinese national to siya, medyo hubog daw, so medyo nahadlok, dito na siya nadakpan sa Nazareth. But, well, that's kanang issue, ang focus sa akong special report is dito ko balik sa night market. Ang ako na obserbahan manggod, ang mga kadalanan, syempre wala gisira, so bisag naay na maligya, abrig hapon ang dalan. So, ang mga sakyanan, kotse, mga motor, medyo okay, kay gamay man. Pero grabe, bisag SUV, like katong nakaligis, o even galing bisag elf, makaagi. Misugok gayod sa piot nga dalan, o nakigpatintiro gyud sa mga mamalitay. Akong klarohon, suportado na ko ang night market sa Kugon. Galing sa akong 1,000 nga budget, medyo dagan-dagan sa dako na palit, dakong tabang ni. Labi na karon gayud nga pitos og lisod kayo ang panahon. Apan kanilang tana ang akong gusto. Una, pwede ba nato i-review ang traffic scheme sa Kugon Market labi na sa panahon nga naa ang night market. Nakabisita magug ko, ako fan magug atong mga ukay-ukaya, nakabisita ko mga night market sa Cebu, sa Davao, ila ginaplastar ang kapamaligya. Og naagyo street sport nga kani wala gyud ang mamaligyan ni kay diri gyud ang one-way traffic, ano ba, medyo mas plastar. Tapos kung pwede mag-designate pud ta og parking areas. Because kung naay parking areas nga plastar, maka-attract na og more buyers, nga possible buyers sa atong mga vendors nga nadya sa mga ukay-ukayan. Ikaduha, iklaro gyud nato kung unsa gyud sila oras magsugod og plastar. Kay medyo usahay na uban medyo sayura po kayo, 4 PM, 5 PM nana. So that's why medyo rush hour pa maguna siya. So medyo piot na, no? Atong plastaron kung unsa gyud ang saktong oras nga tana magsugod na sila plastar. And number 3, additional police visibility for additional safety sa area. Kay kung medyo makakita gyud taog na police, medyo safe ang atong feeling. Like myself, I'm with my family and my kids, mas lami magitong uban ng pamilya nga feeling nila safe sila nga moadto sa night market. Again, suportado na ako ang night market. Kabulok po ko nga maupod ni ang gusto ni Mayor Clarix Uy, kaganina galing siyang speech. Gusto ko lang nga safe ang atong mamaligya ay pati pod ang mga mamalitay. Again, my prayer, Madam Chair, to the committee chair, I don't know, with Committee Chair, Councilor General Romeo Calizo of Committee of Public Utilities, sa imo ba ni, and also maybe on a Committee on Ways and Means, to conduct a committee hearing regarding on this matter. Madam Chair, ako lang klarohon, suportahan ako ni, and maybe, hopefully, magkaroon ng committee hearing para lang to review lang again the traffic scheme, ang layout, para mas plastar o mas safe ang atong mga mamaligyaay o mamalitay. That's it, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilor Bernie Esparcia. So let us refer to the committee. Economic Enterprise and Public Utilities.
This is outside. Actually, if I may,
Lighthouse, yeah.
there is no installed night market yet.
Okay.
According to the city mayor, as he mentioned during his speech earlier, only the tolerance that he is trying to stretch for the vendors. There is no installed night market. So he only authorized the RTA to
Okay.
regulate everything.
So let's to refer this to RTA. Oo. Okay, Councilor Romeo Calizo, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Actually, there is already a technical working group working on this. And this has gone through a series of adjustments. In fact, even the time that the people from the hinterlands will come down and display their products. It was just that then they start at 4 o'clock. We adjusted to 5 o'clock, but then again, traffic is still at its peak at that time. And there's now a study going on. So we can follow what other cities are doing. Just like in Cebu, they start at 7:30. And yeah, I agree with the suggestion of Councilor Bernie that there has to be an area that shall be managed in a manner that no vehicles can already go in. The traffic management should be given utmost importance. So meantime, it's RTA that has been said by the majority floor leader. RTA is the one managing for the meantime. But maybe we can infuse other deputies in managing said area so that there will be activity that will be conducted very orderly and it will be safe for all those going there. Because I myself is also going there. Kay namang good diha ang mga presko nga mga vegetables at that time. So I really agree with the proposal of the good reporter.
Thank you, Councilor Romeo Calizo.
Yes, Madam Chair. Ang ilang ang good gulay ng interpretation, sa ako ka nang tinuod nga gulay. Ambot lang sa akong mga kauban. Thank you very much, Madam
Okay,
Chair.
thank you, Councilor Calizo. So, okay, so it's still with the technical working group. So they will be doing making some guidelines for the sa night market. So our next speaker is Councilor Roger Abada. You're recognized.
Daghang salamat, Madam Presiding Officer, Vice Mayor Jocelyn Bilbot Rodriguez, my distinguished colleagues in the 20th City Council, our friends who are watching us virtually and physically, and all friends in the media, may ngapon kaninyong tanan. Now, as we recall that last session, I reported and presented to you one of the cleanest country in the world, Sweden, no? How they manage their waste, no? So now ang ilang problema dili ang pag-manage, perfect management, but ang problema nila kay wa na sila basura muna yung ila. And is a complete reversal sa Pilipinas. Ug labi na gyud dinhi sa ato karon, problema gyud ang basura. As you can see it, if you roam around, there are piles of uncollected garbage og nakulik magaling pag-abot dito sa atong sanitary landfill, tuara dito gitambak, wa gid mapahimosli, dili sama sa gihimo sa nasod nga ato kung gidalan nitong yaging sesyon, no? Now, today, I am presenting to you, reporting to you, what transpired during my committee meeting. One of the unsolicited proponents of for the cities, Cagayan de Oro City Total Waste Management System and Processing Facility Project. No, I'm providing you brochures no, na sa inyong table and on the, ano, that is their proposal. No? So, one of the agenda in their presentation of the proponent, they are called, their company is Pinoy Basurero Corporation. No? So, this is a public and private, public-private partnership project proposal for the innovation of our municipal waste collection services, integrated waste processing disposal. You can see it in the video. Pwede ba ipadagan pa? Bear? Pwede pa managan na? Okay. So, that is their scope of their proposal. The main scope of their services is environmental engineering and management. What is this? The project will undertake to study and re-engineer the existing waste management facility in Cagayan de Oro, kanang atong sanitary landfill karon, to ensure environmental rehabilitation and subsequent management. The second one is infrastructure design and development. The project will be designed to develop modern integrated waste management facility that includes material recovery facility, waste conversion facility, biodegradable material processing facility, and waste water treatment facility. Ang naitabo karon sa atong kuan, itsura sa atong landfill is a conventional way of management karon. Hakot, collection, dalon sa landfill, tambak, ibubo dito, tambakan. So, anugon kayo ang basura nga wa gyud taon nakadugang lano og problema kataas atong bukid dito. So muna ilang buhaton, muna ilang gipropose, no? An operation and management services. The project will employ local stakeholders to operate the entire project facility. Wala na yung mga alkalay. Dito na sila manrabaho. I-hire na sila. Gitawag nila na sa ilang kumpanya sa Cavite ug Cebu. Gitawag ng MRFA, Material Recovery Facility Attendants. Dili na basurero. So muna ilang, the project will continuously invest, innovate, improve operation throughout the entire terms of the project. Now, this is what is the advantage of this project to the city? Is a zero investment cost to the government. Why gasto ang siyudad sa Cagayan de Oro? Zero operating cost of the government. Then zero development risk to the community. 100% compliance environmental policies. 20% of the total disposal cost cheaper. Then job opportunities and employment training, improved cottage industry economics, additional tax revenue to the local and to our city, then additional enterprise revenue, and improve investors' private public sector confidence, my dear colleagues. No? So, as you can see it in the brochures, look at that. Those are the integrated waste management service offering the processing capacity, like what that I am presented, no? Sa atong i-replicate tong naitabo sa laing nasod. So muna mamahimo sa atong mga muning mga waste nga atong collection og tuwa sa atong kuan karon. Naa pa karon diya gipanglubong. Wala gi mapusli. So muna ang ilang system of processing ang kaning mga solid plastic o they have to refuse fuel processing production, water waste recovery and treatment, or may mo pa mga fertilizer, and look at that, it's an ecotourism park, no? So mo ni ang ilang gipropose nga may tabo sa atong sanitary landfill dinhi sa siyudad sa Cagayan de Oro. Mutuo ba mo nga ang kanang mga leaches karon diya, kanang mga fluids na karon diya sa atong sanitary landfill that could be converted into drinking water or pwede pang hugas because of this technology na ilang gamiton. Nahimo na nila na sa Cebu o sa Cavite existing na ni sila karon, no? So gusto ba niya na mahitabo din ato nang i-apply din sa Cagayan kaniyang klase nga waste management technology. Kay problema ra ba kita sa basura. So ang atong style karon sa basura, hakot tapos ilubong lang dito sa atong landfill. Wala kayo napuslan, di ba? So this is the proposal, Madam Chair and my colleagues. I hope you will be able to appreciate, or if you think that we will improve the system of our sanitary landfill or the garbage waste management, then I think I am proposing that after the proper time, I am proposing a resolution to formally endorse this proposal to the office of the city mayor for his perusal. So that is all my special report for today, Madam Chair and my colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilor Roger Abaday. Any comment? Wala, zero. You mean to say we are not going to spend any centavo for this one? Can you in any way present nga in our vernacular, no, nga masabta nato sa tanan, because if this is the presentation, I don't think wala tayo magasto ni ini. Nagit tayo magasto ni ini. In layman's term, how simple will that be kung ato gyud ni siyang pagasundon? How simple?
During the presentation, Madam Chair, the committee, ang ato lang participation din katulang ang area. Ilalan tong i-re-engineer, dito sila mabutang sa ilang processing plant. Dito ang ilang atong mura na atong contribution.
Yeah, but then the collection still we have to spend for the collection.
Sila na mag-collect.
Ilag yapon, tanan, ila na gyud tanan. Who is this company?
Basurang Pinoy. Pinoy basurero.
Basurero from?
They have in Cebu and in Cavite. So, during the committee meeting, naingon tong sa Cleanro, sa Mr. Nagyo, and I think Councilor IB, dili lang theoretical lang ipakita kung possible makapwede ta mag-jump start. So they are willing to visit us, to visit their company if we think that we really believe their presence. None of the members of those invited were not able to appreciate with this presentation. This is the first time in Mindanao, I think, and Mindanao, or I think Tagum. So, and I will place in your hand this proposed project for our city. So that's the I presented already the advantages of this project as compared onto this our waste management.
Thank you, Councilor Roger Baday. Yes, Councilor. Ayan, Mark Nakaya. Okay. Councilor Girly Balaba, you recognize?
Thank you and maayong hapon, Madam Chair. Mangutana lang ko sa ato ang good reporter kung naabay lain mga kumpanya nga interesado pod nga mo invest na ingon ani nga klase na waste management facility kay kung naaman urag kinahanglan nato ni siya iagi sa bidding man siguro na dili lang kay we have to kinibitang encourage other kaning investors para fair ang
I hope that there's somebody also will propose also a project like this. We welcome it.
Councilor Baday, what is the end product? I mean, they will be here to do the service. So what do they gain from us?
They will only ask the tipping fee. Mura na ilang
that's the catch.
ana.
The tipping
Tipping
fee now goes to them, not anymore with the city.
Yeah. That
Okay,
is
so
their
that's the
fund.
catch. Anyway, that you have to study on that.
But the tipping fee that will depende na sa agreement sa city kung later on if this will be realized.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor Roger Bada. Yes, Councilor Ayan Magdakaya.
Thank you. I am almost always optimistic in all endeavors of the government, especially for the human development and the protection of the environment, Madam Presiding Officer. But as experienced legislator, we have been visited with so many proposals and proponents. Our city secretary is now laughing. Carla is also laughing.
No, you're laughing, Carla.
Allow me to spell out why they are laughing. Puro ra na proposal. Nga man, gamay ra atong waste.
Kulang.
Di sila makaginansya ana pag abot sa panahon. Ang akong worry, pareha sa mga authority nga gapasa sa City Council di sa Cagayan de Oro River, ibaligya nila ang kontrata. We have to check, Madam Presiding Officer, for funding purposes. At sada ra ba kayo? Sada ra ba gid kayong facility? That is why we only relied on the minimum requirement of DNR of RA 9003, which is we laid down the what do you call that screen in the kanang atong kuan. Di naman na dam site kay kuan naman na siya. Environmentally friendly daw na nga facility. So inani lang, before we act on this matter, Madam Presiding Officer, I support the aggressiveness of Councilor Roger Abaday. Ang ako lang is dili mabaligya ang atong aksyon. I do not know the company. That is why I'm making a mark of question. Kay nahitabo na nakadaghan. You ask our city secretary, you ask Carla, daghan na nga panghitabo dinhi nga gakagamit ang konseho. As the elder member of the council, I should report that and inform the new fights. Nga wari tagamay, bantay tagamay. Kay kaning bitaw atong mga resolution, magamit ni siya as a value money. Munang careful tagamay nga mupagawa sa ana. Kay naay mga incidents ga kahitabo ana. May gali na nga himong palpak silang tanan. Pero pag abot nila dinhi, nakagasto na, katong nakabaligya o mga unsa mao galing nga mga endorsements, pag tan-aw nila, gamay ra tong basura, dili sila makaginansya, bisag 20-25 years nga tipping fee, kay gamay ra gid pa ang atong basura. So, uyon ko. Then uyon sad ko sa gisulti ni Councilor Girly, if we are really geared towards this type of undertaking, let's open up. Pareha sa kanang plano nga reclamation, i-open up na to. Dili ta mo limit sa kung kinsay nag-propose lang sa ato. Careful tagamay sa kani lugar nga mga pamaagi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Ayan Magda. No, I'll call Councilor E.B. Imano first, then Councilor Roger Abaday.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon to everybody. Vice Mayor, to Majority Floor Leader, Minority Floor Leader, to everyone in this session hall. Good afternoon to everyone. Ma'am, just to answer the question of Majority Floor Leader regarding the amount of garbage, I also raised the same question because I do know nga there are certain times nga there are these proposals. The proposal was actually very good, even the presentation. I did not even intend to join the committee meeting of Honorable Abaday, but when I went to the office of Boss Torx, I heard their conversation and I couldn't help but join. So yes, I did join and I did listen. And I also asked the same question, whether there is a minimum for the amount of garbage to be collected, because for sure, the garbage of Cagayan there will not be enough to make this plant running for a long period of time. And their speaker, Mr. Sherwin, if I am not wrong, also told me that they will accustom their plant to the amount of garbage that we can get within our city. And if naay magsulod nga other waste from other kind of neighboring municipalities or city, we can also use it as well. But with regards also to their how they can make income of it, they also have a certain number of byproducts, Madam Chair, which I think is one of the reasons nga they are encouraging, or they are for the PPP or the private-public partnership, is because one of their byproducts is kaning murag coal nuggets, which they sell to big factories kay mas dugay siya mawala ang heat and mas dugay siya, mas sustainable siya. They also have biogas, which they also use for their own facility to lessen their expenses, their operating expenses, just to name a few, Madam Chair. Although, yes, I do agree also with Councilor Gurley, now we should also be open to other companies who have alternative or the same waste management, especially with the water waste management. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor E.B. Imano. Yes, Councilor Roger Abaday.
Actually, to be honest and to be frank, I have no vested interest on this proposed project. No, my only intention is to have a total innovations of our waste management program. Kay until now, problema makita, di ba? Atong you look at the system of waste management, is still conventional. So kung ato ni pasagdan, do you have any proposal how to solve our problem right now? Di ba? So why not try? Ang madlok pa ganita nga along pa lang wa pagade unsa naga ano. So gani they are open to invite us to jumpstart. They are not existing in Cebu, operating in Cebu. They all meet to Cebu. They are operating in Cavite City. They have their facilities there, and they welcome us if we will visit there, so that we will know really what is really the nature of their company. That's what the advice also of the AMB. Don't you know that our landfill now, based during the meeting, the AMB director has already sent a notice to the management of our sanitary landfill now, na nasa Clinro, to reconstruct new leaches pool because there's a danger of contamination to our Punan River. Maadto mo dito, tanawagan itong leaches pool. Kung heavy rains, there is a tendency that will run to our Punan River. So there is a need to innovate our our waste management system din sa siyudad sa Cagayan de Oro. In fact, that is one of the priority program of the city mayor, the garbage situation in Cagayan de Oro. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Roger Abaday. Is there a feasibility study already of this project?
In their proposal submitted to the mayor to dito, nag-istudyohan na nila, wala pa ang syudad ng istudyohan na nila sa ilang company with regards to the situation of our waste management program. Nana ilang study ito, attached sa ilang brochures. Dili ka na, one page naman na. It's already in the office of the city mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Roger Abaday. Yes, Councilor Amy Moreno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, the suggestion of Councilor Roger Abaday, it's too good to be true. Every city stream to have its own facility, no? And here comes a company to offer the best all-in-one package, and we are not going to spend bisag piso. But however, as this may be true, the question here again is the same with Majority Floor Leader, no? Will we suffice? Will the production suffice for the company? And second is, of course, this company will be spending billions sa ato ang syudad. So, for are we going to be locked up? Is there going to be a lock-in period? Kay dili naman sila muhawak kung dili sila makagain, no? And with that, if in 2 years ma-realize nato na we're not satisfied with their service, no? Will we be able to break away from this contract? So I would like to learn more about the proposal. It sounds promising. Indeed, it sounds promising because it's an all-in-one package for a city, no, when it comes to waste management. So kana lang. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Amy Moreno. Okay, so I think it's in the mayor's office, so let the mayor study on that, on this proposal, no? Anyway, our last speaker, Councilor Attorney James Judy.
Sa atong halangdong Vice Mayor Jocelyn Bebot Rodriguez, sa akong tinahod ng mga kauban sa konseho, atong mga bisita, membro sa prensa, atong pinanggang katawhan sa dakbayan sa Cagayan de Oro, sa inyong tanan, maupay. Crime does not pay. Dapat lang. Kung naay usa ka tawo o individual makasala o nakasupak sa atong balaod, dapat itaral sa hukmanan aron didto ipahamtang ang tukmang silot matud pa sa balaod. Atong Oktubre 9, sa wala pa migawas ang bidlisyo sa haring adlaw sa sayong kabuntagon, gitayog ang atong dakbayan. Gitayog ang atong dakbayan sa mangilngig nga krimen o insidente nga nahitabo didto sa may Tagwanaw, sakop sa barangay Indahag. Nasayod naman siguro kita sa maong panghitabo kay na viral naman kato. Gani, mao ni ang atong panawagan sa atong kapulisan, sa atong mga barangay officials. Kay dili man unta na siguro mahitabo kung ato lang gipatuman ang atong ordinansa. Naman tay ordinansa ang 5133-95. Kung wala ko masayop, panahon pa to ang author adto si Majority Floor Leader Aya Nakaya. Kung gipatuman lang to. Kung wala ko masayop, kung si Councilor Aya Nakaya, siguro, yes. Unya, kung gipatuman lang sa atong barangay, naman na sila yung mga tanon, nga dili man unta pwede nga mag-inom diha sa atong kadalanan, sa atong plaza. Pero, ang naitabo sa akong pagtuo, katong nga insidente o panghitabo, gitistingan to nila pag-inom dito kasa sa Tagwanaw Bridge or sa Pilais Bridge, wa may nagsita, may balik. Wa gyapoy nagsita, hantod na suki na dayon sila, pirmi na dayon sila dito. Kay wala man nato gipatuman ang atong balaod. Naapagyod, umaabot kay mas nindot pa or mas tiyada pa bali sa Pilais Bridge. Ang kining gisugaan ng Makasandig Balulang Bridge. Nagyapoy giinom diya kay gihimo na nilang bagong tourist spot or imnanan, matud pa nila public bar. Naapod sa Coastal Road, naapod sa Puntod Kauswagan Bridge. Simple raman siguro ang atong panawagan, inani lang. Kay dili man na one time nga nag-inom sila dito ni Ulbon haytabo na dayon ang maong insidente. Ang ato lang pagpatuman sa atong balaod. Aduna kitay ordinansa. Akong panawagan sa atong hepe sa kapulisan, Colonel Aaron Mandia. Tumana kay naa man sila beat patrol system. Naa naman sila roving patrol. Kato kung naabot lang dito siguro ang atong kapulisan sa pag-roving, ila man gitong masita. Kung ila tong naabot dito nga lugar. Pero kabalo ko, dapat i-comment mangani sila na naman ko'y resolution ana nga i-comment ang atong kapulisan. Nahitabo lang ang mga insidente kay wala to naabot sa ilang pag-roving or beat patrol sa atong kapulisan. Kay hilit naman to nga bahin sa atong dakbayan. Unsa man ang akong gusto mahitabo, simple lang. Katong panawagan nga ipatuman sa atong kapulisan ang ilang beat patrol, ang roving patrol. Dayon sa atong kabaranggayan nga ipatuman nila ang atong ordinansa nga ordinance number 5133-95. Dayon sa ato pong kapulisan, ang ako pong panawagan kay maglisod man sila dakop kay wa pa man ni surrender ang maong responsable sa krimen. Inani lang. Dapat katong uban sa katong at large bali nga suspect, apil unta sila pasakaan og kaso, dili lang katong at large nga suspect. Kay sila man tanan nga naa dito dapat kasuhan sa Article 251, death caused in a tumultuous affray. Dili sila mingon nga itumbok lang nila atong tawhana kay maoray nakaligis. Apan sila man tanan naa dito. Nasayod man ang atong mga consultants, mga abogado. Nasayod man si Councilor Abo sa kabogado. Si Councilor Kabanlas, usa magyapon ka abogado. Nga kato nga insidente dili, pwede nga itulod lang nila atong tawhana. Silang tanan nga naa dito nag-inom mo'y hinungdan sa kagubot o rambol, dapat pasakaag kaso sa atong kapulisan. Article 251. Ugun sa padayon, ang ako lang din hangyo, i-refer man gid ni nato sa Committee on Laws and Rules, kay na timing po si Majority Floor Leader among author ni ato na siguro, Councilor, na kaya, ato na sigurong amendahan ang maong public safety, sa public safety. Ato na sigurong amendahan ang maong ordinansa, patasan na nato ang multa. Kay nakita nako gagmay pa man to nya, gagmay pa man ang mga multa, panahon pa man to ang atong Vice Mayor si John Elizaga tuig 1995. Dapat lang ipakita nato sa pagpatuma nato sa atong ordinansa that crime does not pay. Na makita oh. 1995. November 27, 1995. Ha? Aw, ang pot lang tanahon, habi nako. Nano, karaan na kayo. Makikita lang nimo daan, no? Murag panahon pa siguro na sa word star siguro na. Word star na. Ang printer gigamit dot matrix. Kana mo na ebidensya tigpamatuod nga karaan na gid na. Og panahon na sa siguro Majority Floor Leader nga usabon nato ang silot nga naa diha. Ang multa 500, fine of not less than 500 pesos, og naapod din tong but not more than 1,500 pesos. So ang inflationary rate, Ginoo ko 27 na katuig ang milabay, ang ayan nasad siguro nato usabon aron sa pagpatuman nato nga tagaag ngipon ang maong ordinansa o pagpatuman sa atong kapulisan o atong kabarangayan, atong mahanay, ato nang masiguro ang peace and order sa atong takbayan. Dinhi na lang kukutob, daghang salamat, asdang Cagayan de Oro.
Magud ni tingog sa Councilor Kuan, gaani siya may tingog sa asdang. Thank you, Councilor Attorney James Judith. Yes, Councilor Roger Abaday.
Thank you very much. Luoy gikan yung mga atong kapulisan yun kay sila gid pirmi madakdakan pero ilang maging trabaho, law enforcement, di ba? So sila man tig-enforce balaod, tig-bantay sa kinabuhi o property sa at mga katawhan, ang komunidad. No? Ang community biya is one of the pillars of our criminal justice system. Mauna nga, nadia tanan, nadia ang mga barangay officials. They are also police, they are police, they have their police. Naibipat, the barangay police. Kumplito, di ba? Nailupon. So, we will not only always blame sa atong kapulisan kay litis lang bagong ratio. Ang ratio sa police to ang ratio is sa municipality lang gamay lang mga syudad o munisipyo 1 is to 500, 1 police to 500 residents, no? Ang ilang bantayan. But in a community like ours, highly urbanized, 1 is to 1,000, 1 police to 1,000. So they cannot accommodate, they are not omnipresent all the time, no, sa pangitabo. So they need assistance also. Muna nga natay mga multiplier. What the police should do is to improve their police-community relation. What the barangays also, they have also to utilize their power and authority, being also the chief enforcer sa ilang bantay sa kwan. We will not entrust to one agency alone. So there must be a coordination between the law enforcement, the government, and the community. So these are the pillars of our criminal justice system. Because one of the members of the pillars nga magbagdown gani, dili mo cooperate, that will create injustice. Mo nang nitabo karon nga dili magkatiman kay namay ni bagdaon nga membro sa atong criminal justice system, and that is the thing that we have to improve or correct, Madam Chair and my colleagues.
Thank you, Councilor Roger Abaday. So let us empower again the barangay. Councilor Alam Lim, remind the barangay that they have the tanods. Sayo pagali gainom na, badlungo na, di ba? O di gid mahadlok kay ngano, kung imong pasagdan, magbalik-balik na diha og inom, dayon, na din mahitabo, di ba? Kisa to nagpataas kamot. Councilor Romeo Calizo, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. On those bridges, Taguanaw and that bridge linking Makasandig from Balulang, these are actually boundaries. And sometimes, magtulod manggudta og kinsa nga barangay ang responsable sa pag-monitor ni ini. But, Madam Chair, you know, security is a shared responsibility. It should not always be directed to the police, not only directed to the barangays. Kanauntang mga boundaries, the barangays should volunteer their services to oversee if indeed there are violations that would lead to the disruption of our peace and order. Are being done, Madam Chair. So, kinilang, aside from the police, aside from the barangay, there are other facets of security management that are being overlooked. Just like, namang yung mga minors itong involved. 9 were involved, total, according to the report, 5 were victims, 1 died. And, morabag, it is my, marabag ako nang naanda na, Madam Chair, nga at least 4 times a week in the use of my oversight functions, I go around the city to look into where. Asa man gyud ang pwede may tabo ka na yun, ani. Kay, we have just conducted our identification of areas that are prone to crimes where minors are getting involved. And the police were able to identify this. I see the police also patrolling. Sometimes they stay dito sa Makasandig Balulang Bridge, dito sa Taguanaw Bridge, na yung mga patrol cars that are there. Roving, patrolling. Pero naamang ko yung mga badlungon gihapon nga mga tao, no? Especially the members of the youth nga dagid mag-inom. And siguro appeal po ni sa atong family concerns, no, nga kita mga ginikanan mangita sabta sa atong mga anak. And I enjoin of course other committees to join in sharing their respective roles in having an upkeep of our security, Madam Chair. Dili lang police, dili lang ang mga barangay. Kay apil pod mga ginikanan, mangita pod sa ilang mga anak. And I'm talking about probably thoughts about family welfare. Mangita ta sa atong mga igsuon, atong mga anak, nakagawala diya. I'm sure these children who were involved in this fracas, their parents know that they're out of their respective homes and they're there. One was even from Cavite, katong babae, and one of the victims. And I don't know if the parents know that she's there. So, parents should be also responsible. As I've said, Madam Chair, security is not just the responsibility of the police, not only the responsibility of the barangay officials, but this should be a shared responsibility, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor Romeo Calizo. Yes, that is true. Family should be involved in the safety of their children. Pangitaon ni kagabi, asa ng mga anak, manglaag, papauli. You know, something, anything can happen anytime, anywhere. So, thank you very much. Majority Floor Leader, Councilor Arian Magdakaya, let us proceed.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer, and to our colleagues. On the first item, we have proposed resolution number 2022-104, confirming the appointment of Engineer Hinito M. Asakia, City Engineer 2, with all rights and privileges pertinent thereto. On the, with the is Engineer Asakia present? Okay. With the kind indulgence of the members of the council, move to suspend the rules to allow Engineer Asakia to appear before us.
Any second objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Engineer, kindly use the podium next to Councilor Evie.
Councilor
what do you have to say to address
Engineer
the
Asakia.
presiding officer
Yeah,
and the
Engineer
members of the
Asakia, you have the
council?
floor, and welcome and congratulations.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Mayor Jocelyn Bibot Rodriguez, and all the members of the 20th City Council, and other guests. Mayong hapon sa tanan. My name is Ginito Madridano Asikea. It is 1 year. 1 year ago today, I was designated as concurrent acting city engineer, in addition to my appointment as my job as the city building official. I was made a replacement to the then retiring engineer Rolando Pacuribot, who was the regular city engineer, and he has to retire because he reached the 65 year age. So I have been in government service since 1978. My first service was as a utility man under the then Mayor Concordio DL. Then it was during my second year in college, and after I graduated, I went back to apply at the city engineering office. I was then appointed as building inspection assistant. And then I rose from the rank. I was designated acting assistant building official in 1996. And in 2008, I went out of government service to join a private company. I was involved in the making of the Laguindingan Airport. And then in 2020, I was again, called up by then Mayor Oscar Moreno, and he offered me the job as a replacement of the city building official who died in an accident. So from 2020 up to up to present, I was the appointed city building official. So I am very glad that I was invited back to the city government, because it was also my dream when I started working as a young engineer to be working with the city government of Cagayan de Oro. So I think I would stop at that, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Asakia. And yes, Councilor Bernie Sparcha.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just very quick. Engineer, mayong hapon.
Good afternoon.
I will just grab this opportunity kay one of our committee hearings, Mr. Chair, with Honorable John Michael Seno, one of your representatives, sir, said na more daw lisod daw kayo mo maka say tawagan ni kanang kunay report madtuan dayon kay motor lagi daw inyong sakyanan diya, sir, o gubaon lagi daw kayo ang inyong sakyanan, sir. Is it true, engineer, kung ang inyo daw sakyanan diya motor lang or namanggaling gubaon pa gyud? Or just in case, or at least this is also the right time, sir, nga baka mangayo ka og kay at the end of the day, if we have a very good engineer, pero gamotor lang, sir, murag di gyapon na ato magampanan ang ato mga trabaho. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you very much, Kagawad Bern.
Yes, yes, you're
Actually,
recognized.
the coming budget deliberations, we have proposed 3 vehicles for the 3 divisions already. And yes, we have motorcycles, Kagawad, but we are using it judiciously. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Asikia. Congratulations. And more power.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let us proceed, Councilor Ayan Mark Nakaya.
This is just a transfer from one department to another.
Okay.
So maybe we can continue with item 2, then I'll return back to having a formal proceeding,
okay,
Madam
sure.
Presiding Officer. So may we ask Engineer Anisito Banyas to address the body, you being the appointee of the city mayor, as the replacement of Engineer Asikia in the city equipment depot.
Okay, Engineer
Banyas.
Anisito Banyas, you are recognized. Welcome.
Rose from the rank, kaya ba ni?
Maayong hapon, Madam Chair. Maayong hapon, mga kagawads. Sama gihapon sa kang Engineer Asikia, naggumikan gihapon ako sa ranks. As I started as Motor Pool Supervisor 1, that was 1998, and only this last year, only this year I was given a chance to lead the city equipment depot because of the retirement of Engineer Palamini. And for the past 24 years, I've been serving the city equipment depot. And for the remaining years before I retire in the government service, I fully commit my services and my life in serving the people of Cagayan de Oro to the best of my knowledge and capability. Thank you, kayo, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Engineer Banyas. Welcome and congratulations. More power.
Salamat kaayo.
Thank you. Inspiring story ba? Ang duha. Yeah. From ranks, ha?
Salamat kayo. Salamat kayo. Salamat kayo. Salamat kayo. Salamat kayo.
Thank you, Siguro. Thank you. Anyway, I move, Madam Presiding Officer, to lift the suspension of the rules.
Suspension is lifted.
For item number 1, Madam Presiding Officer, I move to approve the confirmation of Engineer Hinito M. Asikia as the City Engineer 2 of the City of Cagayan de Oro.
Any second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
For I move to approve second final reading.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
For item number 2 on proposed resolution number 2022-105, I move to confirm the appointment of Engineer Anisito V. Banyas as the City Government Department Head 2 of the City Equipment Depot, with all rights and privileges pertinent thereto. Move for its approval.
Any second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve second final reading.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Again, congratulations to Engineer Asikia and Engineer Banyas. for your
Congratulations.
information. We now proceed to item number 3, proposed resolution number 2022-106, returning to the Barangay Council, Barangay number 39, the city, its ordinance number 02-2022, series of 2022, covering its supplemental budget number 1 for calendar year 2022, with an estimated income of 462,058 pesos and 58 centavos, with information that said ordinance is operative in its entirety. May we ask the chair to recognize Councilor Yan Lamlim.
Councilor Yan Lamlim, you are recognized.
Mr. Chair, may hapon. Everything is in order. I move for the approval of proposed resolution number 2022-106.
A second. Objection? A hearing, motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve second final reading.
Second. Objection? A hearing, motion is hereby carried.
We have items 4, 5, and 6 having the same subject matter for omnibus motion. For proposed resolution number 2022-107, returning to the Sangguniang Kabataan Barangay number 5, the city, its resolution number 2022-03-1, series of 2022. 5, proposed resolution number 2022-108, returning to the Sangguniang Kabataan Barangay Mambuaya, the city, its resolution number 4, series of 2022. And 6, proposed resolution number 2022-109, returning to the Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay Bayabas, the city, its resolution number 26, series of 2022, covering the respective annual budgets for calendar year 2022 with estimated incomes, with the information that said resolutions are operative in their entirety. May we ask the chair to recognize the SK President, Councilor John Michael Seno.
Councilor John Michael Seno, you are recognized.
Good afternoon, Madam Presiding Officer, Honorable Jocelyn Bebot Bautista Rodriguez, and of course the Majority Floor Leader and the members of the 20th City Council, friends from the media and fellow Cagayanons, may hapon ka natong tanan. Considering that it is gone to the Local Finance Committee, I so move the resolution number 2022-107, resolution number 2022-108, and resolution number 2022-109. I so move, Madam Presiding Officer.
Second. Any objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve second final reading.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Number 7 and A and B as omnibus motion, proposed ordinance number 2022-42, authorizing the Honorable City Mayor Rolando A. Uy to apply for land reclamation expansion covering the coastal waters of Barangay Lapasan, Gusa, and Kugman, actually, all the coastal roads, Madam Presiding Officer, subject to styling, all within the territorial jurisdiction of Cagayan de Oro City, to be used for industrial, mixed commercial, residential, economic zone, light manufacturing, food processing, and business processing outsourcing. B, proposed resolution number 2022-110, interposing no objection to the expansion for land reclamation covering the coastal waters of barangays, again, on the coastal roads or coastal areas of the territory, or within the territorial jurisdiction of the Cagayan de Oro City, to be used for industrial, mixed commercial, and residential economic zone, light manufacturing, food processing, and business processing outsourcing. Move for its approval, Madam Presiding Officer.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby, I'm sorry. Councilor Romeo Calizo, you're recognized.
Madam Chair, this is a good project. I'm not objecting to the proposal, but Madam Chair, if you talk about reclamation, this is not a simple project to undertake because first, we've got to know the nitty-gritty on undertaking the reclamation. That's one. Second, Madam Chair, what is how do we visualize the outcome of the completion of the project after the reclamation and all the facilities, all the amenities, and all what we want done in that reclamation area look like? And so with this, it now requires all members of the council to take a look at the project study, every detail of it, because this is not, as I've said, a simple project, Madam Chair. And therefore, let every member of this council be given the time to take a look at the details of this reclamation project, Madam. And I move that this be deferred for just a considerable time, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Roger Romeo Calizo. Yes, Councilor Ayan Mark Nakaya, you're recognized.
Before the action, Madam Presiding Officer, this is just an initial direction that we are trying to undertake as a legislative body. In fact, our city mayor has already gave the signal in his speech earlier this morning on his first 100 days that one of which that he would like to undertake is a reclamation project. This is a long timeline, but we need to start at an initial stage, Madam Presiding Officer. Viewing the future is first, of course, is the initial perspective of the dreamers, the aspirants, with all our aspirations. All the things mentioned by Councilor Romeo Calizo, Madam Presiding Officer, will be taken care of by the feasibility study. This cannot be considered by PRA, the Philippine Reclamation Authority, by NEDA, without the feasibility study. But the feasibility study cannot be done earlier than our intention. The intention should be first floated, because whoever would undertake, because we cannot, as a city government, cannot produce billions of pesos to endeavor. We are doing this because we would like to float already the idea to the public that whoever would like to endeavor, propose to the city government, introduce either a solicited or unsolicited proposal through public-private partnership for the people measure. So this is the first initial stage. In fact, in the previous administration, under Mayor Oscar Moreno, there was already a discussion on the reclamation, Madam Presiding Officer. In fact, I was authorized to go to Manila to check the requirements of the PRA. However, it went not appropriately considering the pandemia that happened. So this is the first step according to the list of requirements of PRA. Again, former Mayor Oscar Moreno created the PPP committee. Not the PPP. P4 committee, not the 4-piece committee. The P4 committee under our ordinance, Councilor George Goking knows about this because he is the principal author of the P4 ordinance. And I was also appointed by the city mayor then to play as a member of the P4 committee. The people is the public-private partnership for the people ordinance. It's no longer PPP, it's P4. And one of the endeavors that we were supposed to undertake is this. Because we can no longer invite investors to come to Cagayan de Oro utilizing our mountain tops resources for higher yields in revenues. Because we know for a fact, Madam Presiding Officer, that we, in the lowland areas of Cagayan de Oro, are only limited. In fact, the record would show that pila ra ka porsyento, 15-20% ra ang lowland nato. Mo bitaw gitawag ta og kana bitong si tawag ana kanang panahon sa ba tawgon din ta og kanang inana.
Water basin.
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 Basin, catch basin. Because ang Cagayan de Oro gamay ra. Ang kasagara sa ato is bukid. Muna siya ang kulang nato. Ang sa metropolization nato, we cannot compete with modern cities with just limited resources. Mudagan pa man ni 5, 10, 15 years. Pero ang importante, nagsugod ta. Kani nga administration, by the vice mayor, by the members of the city council. And I understand that mayor would like to create a reclamation council for this purpose. And let him be. Kaya siya may execute. But on the part of the city council, and I have talked with Councilor Ed Cabanlas earlier before the session, he is agreeing with this proposal until certain discussions about this. Kay initial stage pa. Importante, disugda na nato, Madam Presiding Officer. I'm asking for reconsideration of the intention of Councilor Romeo Calizo. Thank you. Taas pa man nga panahon. Taas pa
Thank you very much, Councilor Ayan Magnacaya. Yes, Councilor George Goking, you're recognized. Napamangkataan eh. 15 years from now.
Daghang salamat, Honorable Vice Mayor Jocelyn Bebot Rodriguez. In support to the pronouncement of our Majority Floor Leader, karong October 13, we have the PCL Academy's President's Academy in Ilocos Norte proposing on the PPP. One main focus ni President BBM, we have a lot to gain than to lose. Kay halos nanay PPP Center karon run by NEDA. They will be supporting us partnership with the different investors, but we need to have our ordinance which was already approved. Of course, kabingduhan ni Majority Floor Leader, I think that was on the 18th City Council. Ina-approve na siya. Atas pa yun ang atong investment incentive, kumpleto na ta sa kuan sa mga requirements. So, I intend to bring our city to the Philippine Councilors League. Attach yun na to ang PPP. Mao na yung number one nila karon focus telling us nga the best way to get investors is through PPP. Daghang salamat, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Councilor George Goking. Yes, Councilor Ayan Achas.
Hello, thank you, Madam Chair, and to my colleagues. This is not an objection, Madam Chair. I would like to add something, Madam Chair, in the proposed ordinance number 2022-42. It says that to be used for industrial, mixed commercial and residential economic zone, light manufacturing, food processing, and business processing outsourcing. Madam Chair, I would like only to add nga unta i-appeal na to include nato ang mga intended for public plaza. Kay there are barangay in the coastal area nga wala gid sila recreation area. And I think kung naamang ganing reclamation, I think mo allocate ta intended pod sa mga tao nga gusto sad magpahangin sa baybay and mga barangay pod nga nasad sila coastal plaza, Madam Chair. Dalang Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Councilor Ayan Achas. Okay, Councilor Roger Abaday, then followed by Councilor George Goking, then Councilor Romeo Calizo.
Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. Actually, this is a good plan of the city government. Every year, budget ta og land banking, palit og mga yuta for our development. But here, wala tayo puhunan na ni. Ulahin na ganit ta sa ubang cities like Cebu, Metro Manila. You look at Metro Manila now. There, warag mga libgos ang nubo nga mga commercial, industrial establishment. Cebu, mga reclaim man na ilang, gikan lang pier nila. So this is the advantage, Madam Chair, that is to maximize kanang reclaim area, those are to maximize the space for our city's development. Anyway, muagi pa man process gyapon from PRA under the supervision of the Office of the President, and we have so many requisites to undergone, Mr. Chair. So what is important is ato nang yun na plano nga ato nang ma-reclaim kaning mga areas and that area, Madam Presiding Officer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Roger Abaday. Yes, Councilor George Goking.
Daghang salamat, Madam Chair. Before the late Lorenzo Limkitkay, he offered to the city 20% share. Atong capital lang yun is only our ordinance. 20% share of the total reclaim area, tagaan nila. So, in answer to my colleague, Honorable Atsas, it's up to the council, kay gibalik man to, it has to be approved by the city council, the proposal, kung unsay buhaton sa reclamation area. So, tight yun to nga ordinance, Madam Chair. I hope nga, with the help of our majority floor leader, nga i-review na to. Okay, that was done in the 18th City Council. Ang PCL Manila is offering to help us to find investors atong capital ato lang yun nga ordinansa. Daghang salamat, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor George Goking. Yes, Councilor Romeo Calizo.
Now, I understand that this is only the initial phase of the project, Madam Chair. That is our request from PRA that we be allowed to do the reclamation. Anyway, I'll just reiterate my questions during the presentation of the study. And with that, Madam Chair, I am retracting my initial manifestation to defer this proposal.
Thank you very much,
Thank you very
Councilor
much, Madam Chair.
Romeo Calizo.
Thank you, Councilor Calisa. The pending proposal is for the approval, Madam Presiding, subject to styling.
Okay. Subject for styling, the one, the plaza. Okay. Okay, thank you
This-
very much.
Kuha naman ta modern, public spaces.
Oh, di na de plaza.
Really na plaza.
Unsa naman de? Public spaces. Plaza, pabigyan po ng bawaan. Anyway, proceed.
Then of course,
Councilor.
coastal areas na to.
Coastal.
Para dili limiting to Kugman only. Kaya narabay project sa Puerto. So,
Mama, tayo ako ipakanta ganina sa kuan. Birthday song.
gusto ka mo kanta ko?
Ha?
Okay. Si Councilor Aga, mapakpak na ba? Wapa yung kanta.
Okay. Proceed ka, Councilor Ayan Mark Kaya.
So, we only need the ruling of the presiding officer. The motion is for the approval, Madam Presiding Officer.
Second,
As
objection. I hear none. Motion is hereby approved.
As amended. Move to approve second final reading.
Objection. I hear none. Motion is hereby approved.
So after this proposal, take note, this is not a measure that gave authority to a private company. This is the city government acting on its own to endeavor this project. And in the future, if there are beneficial proposals,
Janina.
that would be entertained by the city.
Okay.
Inana. Mo na siya mahitabo. Dili ni nga nag-atag taog authority sa usa ka pribado. Number 8, Madam Presiding Officer, is proposed ordinance number 2022-43, authorizing Honorable City Mayor Rolando A. Uy, representing the City Government of Cagayan de Oro, to enter into and sign the Memorandum of Agreement MOA with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, DNR, Region 10, to be represented by its Regional Executive Director, Dr. Henry A. Adornado, PhD, covering the parties' collaboration in the establishment of the caves and cave resources conversion, management, and protection, specifically Macahambos Cave, Cagayan de Oro City. May we ask the Chair to recognize Councilor Roger Abaday.
Councilor Roger Abaday, you are recognized.
Taking notes.
Any objection, Councilor Roger Abaday?
Considering that the proposed ordinance number 2022 interpretation order, I move for the approval of this ordinance.
Any second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Di man taangay mo bala, kawa may pending sa dini. Move to approve second final reading.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Number 9 is proposed ordinance number 2022-44, authorizing Honorable City Mayor. Your favorite, Councilor. City Mayor Rolando A. Oy, representing the City Government of Cagayan de Oro, to enter into and sign the contract of affiliation with the Professional World Academy, Misamis, to be represented by its Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Alfredo T. Limbago, MBA, covering the 6-month healthcare services course internship training of the latter's students at the J.R. Borja General Hospital under the terms and conditions stipulated therein. May we ask the Chair to recognize Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaani.
Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaani, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Motion to approve proposed ordinance number 2022-44.
Any second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve second final reading.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Number 10 is proposed ordinance number 2022-45, authorizing Honorable City Mayor Rolando A. Uy, representing the City Government of Cagayan de Oro, to enter into and sign the Memorandum of Understanding MOU with the Philippine Business for Education Incorporated, to be represented by its Executive Director, Ms. Lovelane B. Basilote, covering the implementation of the Youth Works PH project in the City of Cagayan de Oro under the terms and conditions stipulated therein. May we ask the Chair to recognize Councilor John Michael Seno.
Councilor John Michael Seno, you are recognized.
Considering this ordinance is in order, Madam Presiding Officer, I so move for the approval of ordinance number 2022-45.
Any second? Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve second final reading.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
11 is a proposed ordinance number 2022-46, appropriating the sum of 15,913 pesos from the item Personal Services Salary Savings under item number 326 Security Guard 1 for the period January 1 to February 4, 2022 in the 2022 annual budget of the J.R. Borja General Hospital, the city, to be made available for the payment of the unclaimed year-end benefits for calendar year 2015 of Mr. Rolando V. Borrias, former Administrative Aid 3, Driver 1 of said hospital, who was separated from public service last September 13, 2018. Again, for the recognition of Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaani.
Councilor Maria Lourdes Gaani, you recognize.
Motion to approve proposed ordinance number 2022-46.
Second.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve second final reading.
Second. Objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
Number 12 is proposed ordinance number 2022-47, granting relief to the delinquent real property and business taxes, stallholders in public markets and terminals, and violators of traffic rules and regulations in the form of condonation of their interest, surcharges, penalties, and or arrearages, as the case may be, in the manner provided for herein, providing guidelines in availing thereof, and for other purposes. May I ask the Chair to recognize Councilor George Cooking.
Councilor George Goking, you're recognized.
Daghang salamat, Majority Floor. Madam Chair, I move to approve the proposed ordinance number 2022-47 as harmonized by our Chairman on Laws and Rules.
Any second?
Second.
Objection? Information, Councilor Attorney James Judith, followed by Councilor Attorney Joey Abu.
Madam Chair, kini ako dili man niingon nga pagsupa gusto lang ako tatawon kaysa duha ka higayon, duha ka session nga atong gihimo or gitigayon sa Committee on Ways and Means. Ang atong natuki kabahin man atong RPT o sa business tax. Gusto lang ako masayran kay naaman din ni nakabutang karon sa proposed ordinance number 2022-47 ang katong nakasupak sa atong balaod trapiko. Gusto lang ako masayran kung pila ba itong gahisgutan ani kay wala man gud nato majority floor leader wa man ni natuki nato sa katong Committee on Ways and Means. Mao lang.
Thank you. If we recall, in the last discussion, we were distributed with a copy furnished to us by the Office of the City Mayor. The other version, as if I may call it. And there was a proposal as regards the public markets and traffic rules violators, the penalties condonation. And if we recall, and the record will bear me out also, Madam Presiding Officer, that I place a motion to include also that the matter be referred to the Committee on Laws and Rules for rationalization and styling for whatever necessary that we should have as a legislative proposal before this plenary. And with consultation with Councilor Yan Lamlim, Councilor Romeo Calizo, they agreed as the chair of the committees on barangay affairs and traffic that they yield and accept the proposal of the city mayor to remove all the penalties and start anew, fresh, for all the traffic management.
Yes. Councilor Attorney James Judith, yes?
Condonation naman lang galing atong buhaton. Gusto mo na lang pod nako nga ang ako baling gustong may tabo, laslasan na lang gid pod nato ang basic nga atong gaipataw nga sa atong mga motorista nga nakasupak sa atong balaod trapiko. Gusto lang ako idugang
To reduce the penalty.
Yes, dili lang sa
that
katong
would be another
pagkondon.
ordinance,
Ako gusto
Madam
gina ko laslasan gyud ang katong multa.
So that would be another
No,
ordinance.
another ordinance. That's another.
Okay, we have to tackle that in the
Yes,
next.
that's right. Pero mao na ang akong
Yes,
pasabot.
okay. Thank you
Actually,
very
that
much.
is pending in the committee of Councilor Calizo. There were several discussions in the previous administration and the present.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilor Attorney Joey Abu, yes, you are recognized. Then Councilor Romeo Calizo.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Just a query on this proposal. I am present. I was present during the committee on Committee on Ways and Means hearing last week, Thursday and Friday. And may I just say that the intention of this proposed ordinance is laudable, or angay pod tagaan sa pasidungog ug suporta. Kay obviously, we all know that this ordinance will help makatabang yun sa tong katawhan pati pod sa ato ang mga negosyante. No, but let it be put on record, Madam Chair, that I am in support of this proposed ordinance. But however, on the other hand, as the legislative body of the local government unit, it is our collective duty to ensure that all ordinances passed before this plenary should be in compliance with existing national laws. Now, I'd just like to raise a query. In fact, during the committee hearing, I have already raised this question. But if I'm not wrong, nobody gave me the answer on this. With respect to the proposed condonation or reduction of real property and interest, if the good secretary can please show the provision under the local tax code of the city. Local tax code na, boss? Okay. That's actually the provision under the local government code. If you read it, okay, this is the provision. Mo ni siyang provision nga naa sa tong local tax code. Ang nagbutang din that if you try to read it, whole in part it, taxes and interest thereon for this succeeding year or years in the city affected by the calamity. This is the same provision copied from the local government code, section 276. If you try to interpret this, the application for the reduction and condonation of real property taxes and interest should be in the application of perspective. Meaning to say, lantaw ta sa unahan. Dili ta mo lantaw sa likod. Kung sa itong nilabay. Now, second, this proposed ordinance is for condonation of interest, penalties, and surcharges of the past years. Now, if we condone this interest surcharges, because I understand that the principal amount taxable from the taxpayer is supposed to be paid as well. But ang kanilang mga surcharges and taxes lugar. But if we condone this, my question is, how shall we treat those who have already religiously paid their taxes, including the surcharges, penalties, and interest? Same question with the business taxes. How do we treat those who are religiously paying their business tax and those who have already paid the penalties and surcharges? Are we not? Because I've heard, I will just not mention names. Last week, I had a conversation with this person. He said that supposedly the condonation of surcharges and interest and penalties supposed to be covers only year 2020 to 2022. But as said by that person, that we should not be discriminatory in granting condonations and reductions. Now, in this situation, are we not also violating the Equal Protection Clause when we grant certain condonation and reduction of interest, surcharges, and penalties to certain people, but we do not grant any relief to those who are paying religiously and have already paid? Do we give them tax amnesty or tax credit in that case? And with respect also to the tax condonation on traffic violators, how do we also treat those violators who have already paid, or on the other hand, cases were already filed in court? Kay kung ang tanaw na to ang penalty lang sa condonation sa ato adere, minus-minus siya. Pero kung mosangat na gani ang kaso sa korte, ang pinakamubo nga fine nga gina-impose sa korte is 3,000. So, these are questions that we also have to answer. And I hope that someone can make a clarification, not to me, but for those people who cannot avail this condonation because they have already paid their taxes, they were subjected to penalties, surcharges, and interest. On our part, actually, in our family, we paid penalties and surcharges as well when my father and mother died. So, dili man sa kanang gusto ko ma-appeal ani, but just a question, how do we cater these persons? How do we treat these people who already paid the penalties and surcharges imposed by the local government unit? And lastly, do we have data as to how much the city government would be losing if we do not, or if we opt to overlook collection with these surcharges, interest, and penalties? But obviously, I understand that the principal tax is to be collected. But on the other hand, pila sad ka pod ang kwarta nga mawala pod sa syudad if we try to condone this tax liability on the part of the taxpayers. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Councilor Attorney Joel. Yes, Councilor Ayan Macnacaya, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. They are also laudable inquiry by Attorney Councilor Joey, my protege. The future. Two of the bases, in fact, three of the bases contained and attached to the proposed measure, Madam Presiding Officer. On page, there's no page. Okay, there's page. Appendix M, page 115. The first paragraph. And Appendix M, page 116. Okay. Before the Section 76 LGC 1991, as read by Councilor Abo, there is Section 447 LGC 1991, Powers, Duties, Functions, and Compensation. Paragraph A2, subject to the provisions of Book 2 of this Code and applicable laws, and upon majority vote of all members of the Sangguniang Bayan, enact ordinances levying taxes, fees, and charges, prescribing the rates thereof for general and specific purposes, and granting tax exemptions, incentives, or reliefs. What we have right now pending, Madam Presiding Officer, is relief. Relief, which is synonymous with amnesty. As defined, inscribed in the ILG opinion number 31, series of 2020, amnesty covers past tax liability. And we also go back to the same page, 116, Section 192, LGC 1991, authority to grant tax exemptions, privileges. Local government units may, through ordinances duly approved, grant tax exemptions, incentives, or reliefs. Again, the term used is relief, under such terms and conditions as they may be deemed necessary. Okay, I guess I have answered the first question. As to the good payer, Madam Presiding Officer, that's a difficult question. But there is a pending proposal, but we find it necessary to defer and refer to the Committee on Finance and perhaps the Ways and Means to study on the matter of giving incentives. It's not yet in our proposed ordinances, Madam Presiding Officer, because same question we raised before the Committee on Ways and Means as to how much would the city incur if we provide all these incentives. Pilay mawala sa ato syudad. Mutong nangutana ta, and the city treasurer has been asked with this question, and of course, she obliged and she committed to this city secretary and to this representation, to the committee of Councilor Guking, that she will comply and provide us with the specific numbers. Kay, before we provide so much incentives, there'll be wala na inunta ika-operate. Og sa pangutana, kung pila ba'y mawala, actually nawala na ni Madam Presiding Officer. I even challenged in one of the discussion in the previous council, why not declare it bad debts already? If it cannot be collected, declare it bad debts. But I do not know how things are done in the Treasurer's office. They do not use the phrase bad debts. In the accounting parlance, there is a phrase bad debts. And if it is a bad debt, it's uncollectible already. But however, dili man nila gabuhaton, so gusto nila ang support sa City Council to condone, to provide relief. Muna siya ang tubag, Madam Presiding Officer. So,
Thank you.
legally feasible lang gyapon ang atong action. Kay nasa'y principle ug doctrine sa balaod, nga kung ang action sa legislative body favorable sa tao, mo prevail gina siya o suportado gina siya.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Ayan Magtakay. So what happens, Councilor? What happens now with the question of Councilor Attorney Joy Abu, those who were able to pay, nga nakabayad na, nakauna nagbayad, wala na sila ka-avail sa mga penalties or surcharges, so what happens? Yes? Would you like to answer, Councilor Girly Balaba?
I'll help the majority floor leader answer if this is correct. It's already in Appendix M, page 110, line 64, letter D. 30% of the outstanding store rentals for calendar years 2020 and 2021 of stallholders in public markets and terminals, provided that non-delinquent stallholders ng sa market vendors ito may avail of the same relief, which will be applied in the form of tax credits. So i-credit siya. Katong nakabayad na.
Excuse me, Councilor Girly, asa to nga line? 110?
Page 110, line 64,
64.
letter D.
50%
In the form of tax credits.
You should be applying the form of tax. For the year 22 and 23,
No, kato? Okay ba? Dili.
30% naman ko na itong i-granted.
okay, I mix up. Okay, sige. Thank you, Councilor Girly Balaba. Yes. Yes, Councilor Attorney Abu.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. The majority floor leader cited the attachments, the back of the agenda, citing Section 447 of the Local Government Code, which grants the tax exemption, incentives, and reliefs. Has the power. Local government units has the power to grant those. And he also mentioned the DILG opinion number 31, series of 2020. I have this copy here, Madam Chair. And even I've read this last week, and I am trying to read it now. There is only a portion of it which was discussed and highlighted that tax amnesty covers past tax liability. That is correct. But, first question, do local government units have the power to grant amnesty? In my personal opinion, we do not have. And in this legal opinion cited, attached in this agenda, the findings of the DILG Secretary Eduardo Anyong, he states, if I may be allowed to read it, Madam Chair. In view of the foregoing, this department is of the considered view that tax condonation of tax liability under Section 276 of the Local Government Code is equivalent to and is in the nature of tax exemption, as it covers future tax liability, as the condonation is applicable to taxes and interest thereon wholly or partially only for succeeding year or years. So it is prospective. Second to the last paragraph, stated here, in addition, this department concurs with the COA decision number 2019-401, which explained that the requirements set forth under Section 276, such as the recommendation of the Local Disaster Coordinating Council, existence of calamity in area, and the condonation covers those interests and penalties of unpaid real property of succeeding years and not of previous years. So this is very categorical in this legal opinion that when we make a basis as to reduction in condonation of real property taxes and interest, we cannot condone the past years. It is only prospective in application. So that's why I also, in the committee hearing, I also cited an opinion of this, I forgot, journal, when it stated that the local government of Caloocan City granting condonation, it used the term amnesty, but basically it was a condonation of real property tax. In the retroactive application, it is said that it is not in compliance to Section 276 of the Local Government Code. So, with this reference made here, ang kuan naman god na diri sa gi-quote lang is this definition of tax amnesty o tax condonation, tax exception. But the gist of this legal opinion is that it stated that tax condonation, tax amnesty, or tax exemption is in the nature, tax condonation is in the nature of tax exemption, which should be applicable in the year or years, succeeding years, which means the application must be prospective. And in fact, the DILG concurred with the findings of the Commission on Audit when it held that the grant of the tax condonation of this particular local government unit in the previous years is not valid. So I am just raising this because should we grant this, we might be again in contravention with the law. Everything I say here, Madam Chair, is just based on law. So, and with this reference in this agenda, it only talks about the DILG number 31 series of 2022 made reference here in this agenda. It talks about the definition, but the entirety of the decision of the legal opinion of the DILG says otherwise or contrary. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Attorney Joey Abu. Yes, what is the pleasure of the body? Is that an objection? Is that an objection? Just comment. Query? No objection. Let us be very specific, no? Kay,
I'd like to seek for enlightenment as well, Madam Chair. Because if I will vote for this particular part of the ordinance, I must be assured, and we must all be assured, like what I said, that as the legislative body of this of the LGU, we must make sure that all ordinances passed by this body in the plenary must be consistent with the existing national laws. So, this was tackled before during the committee hearing, and I'd like to be convinced that we should have a basis when should we grant this kuan. But again, for the record, I am not interposing any objection on this. I just want that if ever we pass this ordinance, we should be in compliance with all existing laws. Thank you, Madam Chair.
thank you, Councilor Attorney Joey Abu. Councilor, can we have a 5-minute recess? Councilor Ayan Mark Nakaya?
Okay.
Okay, so 5-minute recess.
Napay gikuha nila sa legal ani nga
Sir. Ako lang. Sige, sige, sige.
Please go back to your seats. Please go back to your seats. Kadali lang ako, sige pabalik. Kaya wala pa dihang uban. Please settle. We're about to start. Okay? Okay. Session resume. So what is the pleasure of the body?
Councilor Joey is joining without doubt, Madam Presiding Officer. And I also asked him to read Section 8, page 112, Appendix M, page 112, line
What page
206.
again?
112,
112.
Section 8. 112 para ma-relax ang tanan.
So 112, section
Separability, if I may read.
8. Severability. Okay.
If for
proceed.
any reason, any part or provision of this ordinance shall be held unconstitutional or invalid, the other parts or provisions thereof which are not affected thereby shall continue to be in full force and effect. In other words, di ba, Mr.
No.
Consultant Attorney?
Okay.
to?
Shall be in full force and effect, no? So katong provisions uban which should be in full force and effect.
all
Meaning-
all other provisions which
Yeah,
are
meaning
not
katong nakabayad na the attorney Councilor Abu unsa man to, what happens now? Unya na po, lain na po yung discussion.
No, what the majority floor leader is trying to relay to the presiding officer is that should any of the provision under this proposed ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid, those provisions which could stand to be valid has still the force and effect of law. So kato lang particular nga provision
karon lang.
ma-invalidate.
Okay.
Kumbaga. But all other else shall remain to be valid.
Okay.
If
Sige.
challenged.
Okay. Sige, let's proceed. Councilor, majority floor
Yes,
leader, proceed.
Okay, the pending
Everybody's
motion
waiting for this for a long time.
The pending motion is for the approval, Madam Presiding Officer.
Okay, second. Objection. Councilor Roger Abaday?
Wala derby karon.
Okay, I hear none. Motion is hereby approved.
Move to approve second final reading.
Second, any objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby approved.
For inclusion, Madam Presiding Officer, we have items 13 and 14. Mr. Secretary, no more. Move for their inclusion.
Okay. Second, objection? I hear none. Motion is hereby carried.
13 is proposed resolution number 2022-111, electing Councilor J. Roa Pascual and Councilor Aimee Rose P. Moreno as additional members of the Committee on Social Services, amending for the purpose resolution number 14200. 2022, the 20th City Council Committee composition, proponent Councilor Joylene Mercedes Balaba. May I ask the Chair to recognize Councilor Balaba?
Councilor Girly Balaba, you recognize?
Yes, the Committee on Social Services gladly welcomes Councilors J. Pascual and Councilor Aimee Rose P. VP Moreno as new members of the committee.
Okay.
I move for the approval of resolution number 2022-111.
Any second?
Second.
Any objection? I hear none, motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve second final reading.
Second, objection. I hear none, motion is hereby carried.
Number 14 is proposed resolution number 2022-112, declaring the month of October 2022 as the city's business month and the last week of October as Oro Chamber Business, Oro Best Expo Week on the city of Cagayan de Oro. All members as the proponents. Move for its approval, Madam Presiding
Any
Officer.
second? Objection? I hear none, motion is hereby carried.
Move to approve second final reading.
Second, objection? Well, paningog. Second, objection? I hear none,
Gutom
motion is hereby carried.
There being no other pending, move to adjourn.
Session adjourned.
Happy birthday